All right, have and have not fans. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. And just remember the fact that this time next week, the holiday season will be over. It's just a matter of time before New Year's will hit. But in this video, I was going to divide it up, and I say this often, but instead of dividing this up into like 2 or 3 separate videos, I just wanted to do like one big chunk, like one big video because of a photo I posted on Instagram about maybe, yeah, sometime yesterday. You know how I usually go and make a collage of photos where I have 2, 3, sometimes 12 photos in one, and then I put a caption describing what kind of theory or discussion I wanted to go along with the photo. So I posted a photo of Geoffrey Owens, and I don't believe this is Geoffrey Owens on the Have and the Have Nots. I believe it's from another show that he made an appearance in before, but it looks so well when paired up with this Candace Young photo or Tika Sumpter from the more recent Have and Have Nots promo that Owen did with the cast members in Los Angeles, if I believe, earlier this month. And in the caption, I talked about, well, we know that Geoffrey Owens' character is playing a senator. That's pretty much all we know. He's a senator. Apparently, he and Charles know each other. And that's pretty much all we've got, because we did have the Good Morning America interview a couple months ago with Geoffrey Owens behind the scenes. We got some photos. Tyler Perry was talking as well. And that's it. We just see him and Charles in like a dining room area and like a living room area. I don't know if it's the White House. I really don't know. If I were to make somewhat of an assumption, maybe it is the house that Charles said he wanted to get in Atlanta, because remember, he asked Landon, hey, I want to move me and my family. Remember, he has a son and a daughter. Let's move my family to Atlanta. That way, before going to the White House, it will look less suspicious or not raise as many eyebrows if we live in the same area that my first lady lives in, then we go to the White House. So really, that's possibly the new house. I don't know. I'm just, speculating here. And based off the title itself, I don't want to confuse people because of the fact that since we do not know what the character's name is for Geoffrey Owens, that's why the title of the episode, what is Geoffrey Owens' connection to Candace? I think that's the title I'll go with. But in the caption of the photo, I talked about, well, that Candace has dealt with people from different walks of life before, men of different ages, different occupations. On Hulu earlier yesterday morning, I was searching through all the season 1 episodes. No lie, I was like fast forwarding through every part to get to when Candace would talk to Jim, talk to David, because there was this one instance where she talked about how she was so good. It's like, what, I've dealt with the CEOs, the ones who are like the leaders in the boardroom, but wear my stilettos around the hotel room. The jocks who like to play with me and my toys together. And I could have sworn she said something about senators, but she didn't. But then in a more recent episode from season 5, when she was literally conning people or robbing them, making men bringing men to a room or making them come up there, and then instead of having sex with them, literally just robbed them of their wallet and whatnot. And I think Landon said that one of them was like a former senator or congressman. I forgot the exact occupation. And that led me to believe, well, Candace being Candace, it wouldn't surprise me if she's messed with senators before, possibly. The reason that is a possibility is because, well, she probably is like, a lion, and she preys on the weakest of the, what do they call those things? Gazelles or whatever, the things that hop around the safaris. And it's like, yeah, let's pick the weakest of the group, because maybe she knew that there are levels that she couldn't reach yet, hence why Oscar was like, look, don't try to blackmail this guy, referring to Charles, because this is an entirely new game than you're used to playing. These aren't these street level politicians, these are the big time. So it does make sense that she probably preyed on maybe senators or congressmen who were at the gym level. When I say gym level, I'm talking about those people who have been in their occupation for years. Perhaps they're having like a midlife crisis. They have what seemingly seems like it's everything, the money, the notoriety, a good career, a loving wife, maybe some kids. But at the end of the day, they've reached a state of boredom because it's just the same mundane thing over and over again. So to get some excitement, that's where Candace steps in, and that's usually where she bites, and not in a good way, usually taking them of their money and whatnot through blackmail and everything. It's one of those the grass isn't always greener on the other side, where they want to go back to the life that they used to live, to feel young, energetic, beautiful young woman. But then they find out that that grass is poison ivy, and in order to secure their lifestyle that they grew tired of, they do whatever she wants, hence why she was conning so many people. So that's why my caption was, wouldn't it be interesting if Geoffrey Owens' character as the senator, and remember, we do not know, and I do have this theory, we do not know if Geoffrey Owens' character is the running mate of Charles, because that's one thing we've never seen. Who is running with Charles for the position of vice president? We don't know. And if Tyler Perry does do the thing where he sometimes implements, I guess you could say, real life events into a show, then it would make sense for him to have, a young Barack Obama-esque kind of character in Charles, have a running mate who's older than him. I actually could buy it. So Geoffrey Owens could possibly be a senator who's running on the ballot with Charles, and Charles won the election, so Charles would be president, and then he would have a vice president, Geoffrey Owens. That actually makes sense, especially with Tyler Perry saying in that interview that, he was on the deal for 12 episodes or so, but then he added, if memory serves, because remember, this story has been out for a couple months. It was supposed to be 10 episodes or so on the Haves and Have Not season 7, but then that expanded to 12 or more. So given the fact that Tyler Perry has a knack for introducing characters in 1 or 2 episodes, he sometimes brings them back to become somewhat of main characters who last for a season or more than they were supposed to. That happened with both Maggie Day and Erica before they were killed off. So one could make the argument that Geoffrey Owens' character could be introduced as the senator, and then, if the show continues with a season 8 and beyond, if they actually get to the White House level, then Geoffrey Owens could be brought back as somewhat of as a semi-reoccurring character. I could see that happening. But the main question is, in regards to my post, does he have a connection with Candace? Perhaps. Geoffrey Owens was someone that Candace Young conned back in the day. Someone when she was working as an escort, maybe not so much conning them, kind of like in the same vein as she did with Jim Cryer through blackmail and whatnot. She had her website and everything. She was an escort. So possibly, this senator, who knows if Geoffrey Owens' character was a senator at that time? He might have been a bit younger, but not too young given his age. So maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that's a possibility. Candace probably slept with him and got money. Who knows? Because the reason I'm making these somewhat theories, not so much assumptions, is because of the fact it just seems too cookie cutter in regards to just because Charles is president and he makes just because Charles is the president-elect and makes these decisions, that doesn't mean everyone goes along with it. Yes, I feel the same way about Landon. Obviously, we know the reason Landon isn't along with it is because he's in love with Charles, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense, especially with his campaign team knowing everything in regards to who Candace Young is and what people will say. You can try to clean things up all you want to, but the people of Savannah, not to mention people who keep up with the news and everything, would know that she was on the news for, possibly murdering Quincy Maxwell. And I mean, despite what you try to do to clean someone's image, the people who are aware of this person they can make a lot of noise. You can threaten them and try to make them disappear. But I want to say the age we live in today, but keep in mind that I still believe the show itself is set in the year 2013 because it should be set in 2013. So, you know what, let's just say that, for example, if Tyler Perry did move it up to 2018, in the age of social media, one tweet, one photo or whatever could possibly ruin somebody's image. So I don't care what anyone says. Not everyone is going to accept Candace in that position. Even though it seems too, convenient, and this really isn't me going into a whole spiel about Charles isn't who he says he is, this is all a trap. I've done that enough. I'm really trying to look at this from a different angle here. I think it would be pretty interesting if Geoffrey Owens' character was somebody that Candace had encountered in the past. So could you imagine that first meeting when Charles and Geoffrey Owens. And I wish the character had a name so I could stop calling him by his real name. They're meeting up, they're talking, and maybe Candace is at the house. I'm just going to once again just assume that they're at the house that he has in Atlanta, not the White House. And Candace comes out of the back, and that'll be one hell of a cliffhanger for the actual episode. Would it make things awkward? Possibly. But the thing to remember is, and this is one of those things where I'm sure men and women will maybe have conflicting opinions on this. It's a matter of, well, you had yours in the past and I had mine, because there's no telling how many people Candace has slept with or extorted or blackmailed in the past versus Charles, who, apparently has women all over the country during his campaign. And another thing, I know a lot of people are probably saying, Jeremy, this is ridiculous. Geoffrey Owens, and nothing against Geoffrey Owens in terms of body type and whatnot. I'm talking about his character in the show. Let's make that clear, because obviously I'm not the skinniest guy myself. But you're probably wondering, well, why would Candace try to go for somebody like that? And I can understand that. But remember in the episode where Erica met Oscar for the first time at that restaurant, she was dating a mark of hers, somebody, I think she even called him disgusting at one point. He was a white guy, kind of, overweight, but he apparently was rich and wealthy, and Erica wanted to mark him. But that happened right before she saw Oscar, and then that led to eventually going to David Harrington. So Erica, Candace, and them, they will mark whoever they mark in order to make a big score. So it's possible that Geoffrey Owens' character at the time when he and Candace dealt with each other, powerful man, a lot of money, who knows how that ended up. I mean, I'm just saying it's a possibility. So it will be an interesting dynamic if, Charles was there and he met, Geoffrey Owens and Candace together, and to turn out those two knew each other. So that would be pretty interesting. Kind of like that situation where Erica seemed very comfortable with David. Everything was going well. David, strangely enough, didn't ask too many questions, and everything was hunky-dory. But she was haunted by a ghost of her past when that fireman came up, after Veronica set the cars on fire, and asked, like, Erica, remember me? I'm the one that helped you with your tire. And, David raised an eyebrow, but nothing really came from it. I could imagine the same kind of thing if, Charles is, has Candace on his arm, walking around, meeting some politicians and whatnot. Maybe not necessarily Geoffrey Owens, but what if there's another political figure that goes up to Charles like, wait, you're Candace Young, remember me? I could possibly see that happen. And then even though things seemingly look good for Candace, things will look bad because Charles will be pretty pissed off if, he's escorting this woman around who he actually seems to care for a lot, and then finds out that Candace has been with possible opponents of his, people that are in his cabinet. And again, I just want to take a brief pause, because I know people will probably say this in the comment section below. Jeremy, over the past several months, you've talked about how you didn't want this to happen, how you didn't want Candace to be the first lady. Now it seems like you're going for it. Number one, you're absolutely right. In terms of, for months, I have talked about not liking the idea because it just seemed too easy. An easy way to reboot Candace's character by erasing her past without any sort of character development that's believable. And to have somebody like that, if you go back to season 1, that where we are now, to get everything that she's wanted without deserving it, it doesn't send a good message. But what I'm trying to do now is just take it, okay, this is going to happen regardless if I want it to or not. So let's talk about possible theories of how this could go, because you can't really escape the past. Because I do believe there is that one episode, Are You Happy? I did a video on that, talking about how Candace's past comes back to haunt her. So Are You Happy Now? I could definitely see Candace Young in a situation where everything seems to be going well. And what really will set it off is when she finally fits herself into this new lifestyle, when she becomes accustomed to being the future first lady. She's adjusting to the political game. Everything seems to be perfect, but a ghost from Hooker's past will come back to haunt her. And I really think the whole political thing will work where everything is going extremely well, but there might be another politician who recognizes Candace from her prostituting days, from her escorting days, from her blackmailing days. I could see that happening. And you know what will really get the match started? One person just recognizing her, will ignite the match. And then I think Landon will be the one to take said match and throw it on the canteen of gasoline and then cause an explosion. I could see that happening. Why? Remember, Landon is in love with Charles and Candace is standing in his way. So in order to get rid of Candace, it would be to paint her in such a bad light that not only would it be embarrassing to Charles, but it would make it so he will actually kick her out. Because I think Candace even said in their conversation during the episode Exhausted, is like, what if you get tired of me? Do you know you? I forgot the exact wording, but the way Charles worded it was, Candace is so exciting and intriguing and makes him feel alive that he'll never get tired of her, which I could see happening. But if it gets to a point where it just makes him look bad and he loses his reputation, I could see him kicking her to the curb. I could truly see that happening. And Landon, I could see a pre-inauguration party or an event where Charles and Candace, they're on each other's arm and walking around the room. He's making a speech or something. Maybe she's on stage with him. Kind of like a throwback to the whole situation of, oh, Jim and David are running for governor, lieutenant governor, and Geoffrey asked Candace to, I think it was like $2,000 cash to be his date to that event. And, it would be pretty interesting to flip things around where she's the one on the stage while maybe Jim Cryer, Catherine, Veronica, they're all in the crowd. That would be cool. And remember season 2, there was that episode where Candace, well, actually 2 times, where she came into parties and pretty much acted like a bitch, pretty much calling out Jim for all of his schemes and whatnot, embarrassing him. So I could see the halves showing up to those presidential events trying to embarrass her. Maybe security will take care of them, but I could see that happening. So the reason I'm making this party analogy is, what if there's a scenario where, everything is good, Charles is on stage, or him and Candace are walking around the room, and Landon's, just pouting in the corner, and somebody he knows walks up to him to get some, like a cup of, a cup to drink or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making up the scenario here. And it's like, oh, wow, that's good that Charles is winning the White House. And his first lady, she looks familiar. Landon is like, Candace Young? Yeah, I know Candace. Oh, man, she's good in the sack. And I could see Landon taking that bit and running with it. I could see Landon taking that one thing, the wheels in his head will be turning, and it's like, okay, I know how to get this bitch. So really, it would just be, I could see Landon growing more and more resentful of Candace as the season goes on. And you can only imagine because Landon is like Charles's right-hand man. So I could definitely see his disgruntled, sorry, the chair's creaking. I could see his disgruntled nature growing more and more towards Candace because, if Charles just keeps talking on and on about how he cares about Candace, and maybe even worse is, Landon won't be able to spend as much time with Charles because of the fact that he's won the White House. He's spending time with his first lady more and more, and he's going to be growing more and more jealous of it. So Landon being Landon, based off previous seasons, I could definitely see him sitting at the bar, and then that's when the conversation will occur with a politician who says he recognizes and knows Candace from the past. Landon will take it and run with it to make things worse for her. Kind of like, it goes back to the whole situation of Tyler Perry writing off characters who are intelligent and smart by making them dumb as hell because they act off their emotions, which is unlike how the character was for many seasons. So I could see Landon pulling what Maggie Day did. Basically, after David got arrested in that season finale for season 3, I believe, and then in the next season, Maggie loses her shit and then decides to post that photo in the paper of Veronica and Benny and making it seem like Jim and Veronica were conspiring with each other, and that helped David get out of jail, and that ultimately led to her downfall. I could see Landon doing something along the same lines in order to not only smudge but destroy Candace's look, which would be an embarrassment to Charles and his family, and Charles would probably have him killed. Think of it this way. Remember that time that Charles knew, what was it? Landon walked right out of Charles's hotel room and then called either the news or the cops about where Candace was located, because remember, they were looking for her in regards to the Quincy Maxwell murder. So I could definitely see that happening. Charles finds out that Landon was behind everything, and well, that might not end too pleasantly for him. So in regards to the whole scenario of Geoffrey Owens possibly being a character that knows of Candace from the past, I could see that happening. And on top of that, that would be very awkward between him and Charles if he is the vice president. It's kind of like, wow. So your first lady is the same prostitute I was screwing around with, or your first lady is the same woman that conned me before. Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting storyline, because everything is not going to be sugar spice and everything nice for Candace once she adjusts to this White House lifestyle. Like, it seems to be going well, but her past is going to come back to haunt her. Now, if Tyler Perry writes it that way, that'll be pretty interesting, showing that, there's no, what's that saying is like, no matter where you go, you can't escape who you are, or your past will always catch up with you. So I could definitely see like pretty much like the have characters, the have not characters being mad and side-eyeing Candace, especially like Hannah and Benny, for her getting to where she is now, because Hannah would know that this was all like a scam and whatnot, and the argument could be made, yeah, but remember, Charles chose Candace. But I think that Hannah will see that once again she hasn't had a true change of heart yet in regards to seeing the Lord, and because of that, all of her past demons and deception and lies will catch up to her. And I think that, that's how the devil works. You make a deal with the devil. You seem to get everything you want in that moment, but you're going to have to pay a price that you probably can't afford down the line. Like, everything is going well. And I know this is like a weird example, but Rumpelstiltskin, that girl was begging for his help to turn the straw to gold or whatever. And his final price was, fine, I did this for you twice already. The third time, you don't have anything. I think the first time she gave him a ring, and I forgot. Basically, she gave her possessions to Rumpelstiltskin that he found, worth something. But then the third time, it was like, okay, give me your firstborn child. And she agreed. He turned the straw to gold, got married to the king. Everything was going well. But then when it was time to pay the piper, I know I just made a Pied Piper reference. That was weird. Pay the piper. Yeah, that technically give him the baby. She didn't want to do it. And with Candace, I can see the same thing happening. She pretty much struck a deal with the devil, got whatever she wanted. Everything is good. The king, aka Charles, invited her to the castle, the White House. Everything's going well. She's adjusting to a new life, but she has to pay the price. So I could definitely see those past extortions, those past people that she's played coming back to haunt her. And that's going to suck. But it'll be fun if it's written that way. So, yeah, this video is longer than I thought. And guess what, folks? I'm not done yet. I'm not done. Like I said, I wanted to divide it up, but I figure, you know what? Let's go ahead and just put it into one video, because this is a healthy discussion here. And when I say healthy, it's like these are like jumbled thoughts in my head. So just getting it out really does help. We're going to shift gears, because aside from possibly being someone that Candace knows from her past life, we're going to flip the script, because some people are saying, what if Geoffrey Owens is Candace's father? That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. I mean, in real world, it's not impossible to have people in high positions like that who have had a shady past. And I just don't like the idea of, the rapist being right there with Candace. But you know what? I mean, Hannah is possibly dating the same man that raped her, so that's another possibility too. Sorry, there's a loud car in the parking lot. It is very interesting, because could you imagine that being the way she finds her real daddy? Because I think, I went back and remember I was going through season 1 episodes, going through all the scenes. She told Jim in that episode, it wasn't Angry Set. The criminal. She was like, I saw my dad twice when I was little. Once when I was at my 3rd birthday, and then another time when I was 11. He got arrested for hitting my mom. He was in the back of a cop car, and that was the last time I saw him. It's You know what? It's hard for me to say. It could be a lie. That definitely could be a lie. But I mean, it is possible that it was a retcon. Like Tyler Perry, that was where he was going with the Candace father storyline, but he eventually changed it up in season 5. I honestly, I can't be mad at that. I mean, I'm really nitpicky if you haven't noticed. But I mean, season 1 of pretty much any show is when you're finding your footing. You're discovering where you want the story to go. You're establishing the characters. So I will believe that Tyler Perry possibly meant that to be fact when Candace said, I saw him twice, once when I was 3, once when I was 11. He got arrested. That was the last time I saw him. But then as the seasons went on, he decided to change it up, because in season 2, especially during the hey, Benny's in a coma saga, every time that Candace and Hannah would pop up at the hospital together, they would go back and forth. Hannah asking about the Quincy Jr., and then her quick rebuttal was, who's my real father? So I could definitely see the back and forth between those two, really establishing Tyler Perry deciding on where he wanted the storyline to go about Candace's father. Now, with season 5, we know the whole situation of the lion tattoo. So it is possible that back in season 1, when Jim was talking with Candace, she was lying. And then, I mean, that fits Candace's character well. So I could buy it. Or B, Tyler Perry literally retconned it because he wanted the story to actually have those two moments of, oh, I saw him when I was 11. Oh, I saw him when I was 3. But then he decided to change it up to Candace has no idea who her father is, never seen him before, and that was it. Hannah was raped, and that was the first and only time she saw the man, and Candace never saw her father physically. I could buy that, because once again, it goes back to how Tyler Perry could switch up the writing, but then uses Candace's character trait of lying to actually make sense of what she said in season 1 to be false. So that's all to say that Geoffrey Owens could possibly be the father. It'll be kind of awkward, though. I mean, especially, I feel like it is possible that Hannah laid down the foundation of how she was raped, how Candace came to be. Does Hannah really need to meet the man that raped her again? And I know this sounds weird for me to say because I've done so many videos about Derek being the father. I've talked until I was blue in the face about it. But I could possibly buy the scenario of Geoffrey Owens being the man that raped Hannah and is the man who was Candace's father. That would be pretty interesting, especially like I said before. Does Hannah really need to meet that man again? Don't you think it will mean more if Candace is the guy that meets him? Because I could buy it. That would be pretty interesting. I mean, remember, Candace pretty much kicked Hannah and Benny out of the room, and then she broke down after they left. So could you only imagine what it would be like if she found out the man that is her father, the one that raped her mother, the one she's never seen in her life? Maybe she'll have regrets of, what if you were there? Maybe I would be different and things like that. I could see that happening. And then, they're living in the same house, if he is the vice president. So wait, does the vice president live in the White House with the president? I don't know. So I think it is probably an interesting dynamic if Geoffrey Owens was the father. Now, keep in mind, I would much rather it be Derek due to the fact that I've done so many videos on it. And the fact that I did say that if I'm wrong, I'll quit doing it. So yeah, I hope I'm right. But I do think it is possible that Geoffrey Owens could be the father. I mean, I would really have to see how this plays out, though, in terms of he does seem to be older in terms of appearance. Like, I did not cheat by looking on Wikipedia or whatever to find the actors' ages and whatnot. But I think it'll be pretty interesting to have an older character like Geoffrey Owens, the senator, being Candace's father. And you know what? Here's what I would like. Let Geoffrey Owens either be the vice president or somebody who works closely to Charles in the cabinet or Congress or whatever, and you know, oh, you know what, I'm an experienced person in the political game, let me help you out, Candace. Because what if Geoffrey Owens portrays a father figure-esque character to Candace while she's getting accustomed to the political lifestyle, and then later down the line it turns out that, oh man, he is the guy with the lion tattoo, he is the guy that raped my mother, he is the man who is my father. And then the dynamic between the two will change. It'll be from a friendly terms of, hey, you're helping me adjust well to this political lifestyle by being somewhat of a father figure who I never had. And then it turns out you really are my father. One can make the argument that what if those two actually attempted to have sex? Like, what if Geoffrey Owens seems like a nice guy, but that sexual instinct to like rape or push himself on women takes place. Like, let's say those two are having a good time. And when I say good time, I don't necessarily mean drinking or whatnot. Let's just say they had a good game. What did I say? Sorry. Let's say that they had a good day in the political platform, like Candace did well when doing meet and greets or talking with other political figures and whatnot. And those two just happen to be alone. Let's say Charles had to go to a meeting or he had to make an appearance somewhere, and Candace is at the White House, you know, not by herself, but, you know, her and Geoffrey Owens are there. What if Geoffrey Owens pushes himself up on her? I'm not saying I would like that to happen, but in terms of story, that would be pretty interesting, because once again, going back through season 1, and I don't want to go on an entire tangent about how it was a great season and whatnot, because it was. The dialogue was great. The background music was on point, and every piece of dialogue mattered. Every instance of body language, every movement, it had a purpose. And you can really tell how Candace would push herself up on Jim to get what she wanted. I could in making him uncomfortable, then he eventually caved. I could see the same thing happen where Geoffrey Owens tried to push himself up on Candace, because once again, it could look good, like everything in the political platform is great, she's adjusting well, but then you get to the darker side of politics in regards to these people are people. They're not perfect, obviously, but what I mean by that is that they're just as like street level and whatnot as people out there who, you know, sexually assault co-workers and whatnot. I could see Geoffrey Owens possibly flipping the script in a Jekyll Hyde personality, kind of like Charles has the Chucky persona, and then he pushes himself up on Candace, and then she finds the tattoo. Okay, yes, that would be a very sick way to find out, because, oh my God, my father's trying to rape me. Yes, I know that sounds jacked up, but in regards to story, you know, I can see that happening where Candace is the victim of the very thing that she's been doing to men most of her life, you know, taking advantage of them, getting what she wanted, and then next thing you know, she's being betrayed by the same people she was standing along with. I can see it happening. Okay, guys, I should really wrap things up here. This is a big video. I don't think I've done a video this long outside of a live stream in quite some time, and it was a joy to talk about. So with that being said, let's just kind of break it down again. What do you think of Geoffrey Owens' character? Do you think he has a connection with Candace Young in regards to somebody that she's slept with in the past, either by being the escort or prostitute, or somebody she has blackmailed? Is that the connection between Geoffrey Owens and Candace? Is the other connection, is Geoffrey Owens her father? Or is another connection is, will he portray like a father-like figure by teaching her the political game because he's experienced? Possibility. Is he Charles's vice president? That would be pretty interesting. And then, like I said before in that little theory, what if Landon actually tries to break down Candace from the inside in regards to, Landon noticed that another political figure noticed Candace and remembers her from his past, and then used that to destroy her reputation, embarrassing Charles, allowing him to kick her to the curb. I can see that happening. So with that being said, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. This most likely is not my last video before the holiday season, but I just wanted to end this whole theory thing by kind of like thanking you all real quick. And yes, I will be trying to do like a retrospective video or review video when I say, like, let's just talk about 2018, everything that's happened, the fact that I've been a full-time YouTuber for over a year now, and just going over some numbers, the top videos, just having fun. And yes, I do know I still haven't done that video celebrating 10 million views. All that's coming in good time since it's the holiday season. And yes, there is a lot of news I have not covered over the past 24 hours. And this is the part of the video. If you want to tune out, you can. My talk about Geoffrey Owens and Candace is done. So let's just ad lib for a little bit. Really, what's today? The 19th. Yeah, the 18th was just a day for like mailing off more eBay stuff I sold. Clean today was like my roommate he left what was it, Monday, to go back home to the Bahamas for the holiday. He won't be back until the middle of next month, so I decided, let me go ahead and get some cleaning done, laundry. Like, I did a lot. Like, I pretty much took my room apart, vacuumed, cleaned it, laundry, washed the bed sheets and everything. And I've been running on like 5 hours sleep for the past couple days, where I would like pass out at 9, wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and just stay up all day doing stuff. And my body literally was about to shut down. It was like, okay, I need to drink some water, get some sleep. Passed out at like 4 p.m. Woke up at 12:30, and I'm up now doing this. And I actually feel a lot better now. I was just thinking, man, look, you don't have to push yourself so hard. You've done well this year. It's the holiday season soon. Just time to slow down and relax. So with that being said, let's just slow this video down, and I wanted to express appreciation for everybody that supported me so far. The channel is still growing. And also, number one, I talked about this in another video that YouTube removed a lot of spam accounts, aka subscribers that had spam accounts apparently. And I remember the channel had just hit 57,000 subscribers, and then the spam cleaning happened, and then I dropped by like 300 or 400. But guess what? As of today, we are back up past 57,000, which is awesome. So I want to thank you all for that. Also, not to sound negative, but I don't know if we'll hit 60,000 before the end of the month or the end of 2018, which is what the goal was. But either way, I'm just happy that we've grown so much in such a short amount of time. Hopefully this time next year we'll be at 100,000 plus. That'll be great. And let's see here. Wow, it's just so much to talk about, but I don't want to hold you too long. I feel like I've held you long enough. But also, my more recent video about Catherine Cryer called me out. I know I've gotten some flack in the comments about people saying you need to chill, or there are other people who do what you do, which is true. But, again, I don't really know of other channels that break it down like I do. I know this sounds completely cocky and out of character for me, but it's just one of those things where I don't really, if they're out there, I don't really see them. And I know there have been several accounts that I've needed to report for literally stealing my videos and then altering my voice and then, putting it on their channel for views. Like, yes, that happens. So aside from Ashley Miller, and I do believe there is another YouTube channel out there about TV reviews and whatnot that actually do have and have not videos. And I'm talking, and this isn't like downplaying other channels, but in terms of channels with a lot of subscribers, those are the only two I know of. But the thing is, like, I don't really check for other channels like that, because you really only compete with yourself on YouTube, in my opinion, unless, let's say if I was doing like comic books and whatnot. Oh man, there are Comic Story and Comics Explained. These are channels with over 1 million subscribers. But the haves and the have-nots, once again, correct me if I'm like, look, if you're one of those people that pretty much called me out in the video where I thought Own called me out, let me know what other channels are out there that do have and have not videos, because honestly, I want to check them out, because it'll be pretty interesting to get somebody else's perspective aside from my own, aside from looking in the comment section of my content. So if you could list them out. And again, I know about Ashley Miller, and I am impressed by her channel because of the fact that she does a lot. She pretty much does everything in regards to like TV shows and whatnot, and I'm impressed by that. And also the TV review ones, I've actually talked to them a couple times. But yeah, I don't think there's anybody out there that does what I do in regards to their channel is literally revolving around this show. I don't just do episode reviews, but I'm talking about I do trailer breakdowns, promo breakdowns, episode leak information, theory videos and whatnot. As far as I know, I'm the only one that does it. So again, tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, that's completely fine, because I'm curious. But as far as I know, I'm the only one that really does it to this level of, obsession. But in any case, yeah. So with that being said, guys, I'll try to get this. What's today, the 19th? Yeah, this video will definitely be up by the end of the day. And shoot, aside from that, Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I know Geoffrey Owens has an Instagram and Twitter account now, because I do believe he didn't have one, a couple months ago. But if Geoffrey Owens is watching this video, welcome to the cast of the Haves and the Have-Nots. I can't wait to see what your character brings to the table in a couple of seasons. I mean, like I said, it was season 7 that was filmed in September, and these episodes generally air within a year after they've been recorded. So we might see Geoffrey Owens pop up by the back half of 2019 for all we know. But again, I don't know how many episodes are going to be airing in 2019. We got over 30 in 2018, so I don't know how the format's going to be playing out for next year, but I'm excited nonetheless. But with that being said, guys, I'm just going to bring this video to a close. So thanks so much for tuning in, and if you made it this far in the video, you truly are a trooper. But with that being said, if this is the last video you check out on my channel over the next several days, I hope you and your family have a Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Kwanzaa, Happy holidays, whatever you want to say. Basically, I hope you have a good time off from work. Have fun with your family. And don't forget that we do have a Have and Have-Nots, I believe, the marathon, the Back to the Start marathon on Christmas Day. So look forward to that. So thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you soon. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section below so we can keep the conversation going. On the left hand side of the screen, you should see a picture of Geoffrey Harrington. You can click on him in order to subscribe, but also hit the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content. Also, you should see some videos appearing on the screen as well that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy if you enjoyed the one you just saw. But also, be sure to follow me on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all my social media will be in the description below. And in order to help this channel hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to need your help. So make sure to share this video as well as the channel around with all of your friends on your own social media. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.